Welcome to Hallmarc Internal Auditor Training.
First, let's look at an overview. We'll look at the purpose of ISO 19011, its application in construction, the audit lifecycle, and the roles of auditors. So what exactly is ISO 19011? These are guidelines for auditing management systems. These guidelines are universal. They're applicable to ISO 9001, 14001, and 45001. In Hallmarc's circumstance, ISO 19011 works alongside these categories. The focus is on effectiveness. The simple aim is thorough and effective auditing, to a standard. The standard is used for internal and external audits. Hallmarc's internal auditing is to the same standard as expected from any external or third party. So why does auditing matter? Auditing ensures compliance with regulations. This is the simple and legal obligation to comply. It improves overall safety outcomes. A regulated workplace is proven to be safer. The project risk is reduced. This includes program and budget. Auditing also enhances quality and environmental performance. This flows into overall business reputation. There are some audit principles we should be keenly aware of. Firstly, integrity, honesty and responsibility. This is the cornerstone. Fair presentation and truthful reporting. Truth and fairness cannot be challenged. Then there's due professional care, as you bring to any task. Independence. Even if conducting an internal audit, the approach must be that of independence and impartiality. And then there's the evidence-based approach. Expect evidence, and back everything with evidence. No maybes. No probablys. Construction risks in Australia. Work health and safety. This boils down to the provision of an overall safe and healthy workplace in line with laws and regulations. Environmental protection laws. State, council, and EPA regulations all apply. High-risk construction work. These are defined work categories requiring specific risk assessment. And subcontractor management. This is transferring the assurance and monitoring the compliance. Audit program. What are the audit objectives? To confirm, or otherwise, the application and the effectiveness of the company's management systems. Establish scope and criteria. We need to understand this ahead of time. Assign competent auditors. This could be a combination of training and experience. Then schedule the audits. Set the time frame, probably 12 monthly. And importantly, we need to monitor effectiveness. Have the previous audits been effective? Have revisions been put into practice? Let's understand audit types. There are internal audits. These are most common. This is a self-auditing process. Compliance audits are an internal audit against external or statutory parameters. And certification audits. This is a formal, third-party assessment of management systems. Audit roles. Lead auditor. One person fulfills this role with overall responsibility. The lead auditor may be assisted by team members. Technical experts. In certain cases, experts may be required. And auditee responsibilities. Give the auditee every opportunity to understand the scope of the audit and to prepare accordingly. We'll take a simple look at the audit process. First, there's initiation. Usually annually, but possibly 6-monthly. Then plan it out. Select criteria, location, and involved employees. Then execution. Follow the predetermined criteria. Then report the findings in clear and simple language. Then it's important to follow up to be sure that the findings of the audit are acted upon. Now let's skip back to initiating the audit. We need to define the objectives. Essentially, it is to confirm or otherwise the ongoing effectiveness of company and project systems and documentation. Then confirm the scope. For example, will the audit take in all or part of the business? We must identify the stakeholders. Which employees and projects will participate in the audit? And review previous audits. Are there repeat issues that require heightened attention? Interviewing. This is a skill. Ask open questions. Be clear and easy to understand. Listen actively. What you're hearing is the basis of your report. Avoid leading questions. This can erode trust. Factual evidence is more than enough. And verify responses. If answers are unclear, don't guess, clarify. What are some audit techniques? Sampling. Looking for and asking for examples of the management system being applied. Observation. Looking for practical application. Watching procedures in practice. Document review. Does the IMS and project management plan perform as intended? And questioning techniques. The audit process requires questioning. How's this done? Collecting evidence. Evidence should be objective and verifiable. The evidence should be genuine. Based on facts. Put simply, the evidence must be real, not mock-ups or examples. It needs to be recorded clearly. Contents of forms and documents must be clear and concise. These can become legal evidence. And evidence must be linked to criteria. It must be objectively necessary for the audit. Non-conformances and corrective actions. Major versus minor. The reporting function will give this option. It's recognized that non-conformances have varying severity and consequence. Observations. Don't expect a non-conformance to be rectified unless documented. Document all observed non-conformances. Opportunities for improvement. If a clear resolution is apparent, say so, report on it. And give clear descriptions of non-conformances. Don't give a brief description to back up a verbal report item. Be clear in the written report. Documenting findings. State the requirement. This is the criteria being assessed. This will usually have a title or code. Describe the evidence. What did you look at? Build pass, documents, emails? Explain the gap. If not conforming, why not? This is important to review and rectification. Compare the evidence to the requirement. And be concise and clear. This is not the time for jargon, acronyms, and fancy language. Be clear with your messaging. Now we are up to audit reporting. Summarize your findings. The good, the not so good, and an overall summary. Be fair and factual. Highlight risks. Identifying risk is the end goal of the audit process. Provide recommendations. If solutions are apparent, these should be shared as recommendations. And distribute the report. Eyes on the report matter. Senior management buy-in matters. Top-down involvement matters. The closing meeting. Present your findings. Verbally work through the written report. Confirm understanding. Be comfortable that the auditee understands the findings. Discuss the next steps. Action items, reviews and rectifications resulting from the audit. And expect questions. Regarding corrective actions. What's the root cause? Put simply, what's wrong? Why is it non-conforming? The action plan. How are we going to rectify this? Then assign responsibilities. Who's going to take the lead regarding the rectification? And set deadlines. When's this need to be done by? Follow-up. Verify corrective actions have been completed, as is required of any action item. Assess effectiveness. Has the rectification or corrective action made a real and effective improvement? Close out findings. Document the rectification or corrective action, and mark as closed. And update records. No part of the audit process should go unrecorded. Continuous improvement. Lessons learned. Management systems should evolve and move forward this way. Trend analysis. Look for repeat items and underlying trends that may point to a larger issue. Improve our systems. Make the changes. Continuous improvement is an objective. Enhance our safety culture. Safety must be embedded into Hallmarc, its people, and its culture. Take as much pride in how we do it as what we do. Remember these best practices when conducting an audit. Plan thoroughly. No part of the process should feel hasty or made up on the fly. Stay objective. Objective is professional. Objective is fair and objective is transparent. Communicate clearly. Don't leave any room for misunderstanding. And focus on risk. Risk mitigation is the reason you're doing this.
The Office of the Federal Safety Commissioner has helped shape the safety culture of Australia's building and construction industry. Since 2006, the Office of the Federal Safety Commissioner promotes best practice. We work with head contractors on Commonwealth-funded building projects to make sure they use a systems-based approach to safety. With over 550 companies accredited by the Federal Safety Commissioner, working in civil, commercial and residential construction, we work with industry for continual improvement in safety. Accredited companies experience lower injury rates on site and consequently pay less in workers' compensation insurance premiums. If you are bidding to become a head contractor on Commonwealth-funded building work, please visit our website or talk to us about becoming accredited.
Let's now look to understand WorkSafe Victoria's view on occupational health and safety management systems.
Occupational health and safety management systems help organizations to continually improve their health and safety performance. What is an OHSMS? An OHSMS is a coordinated and systematic approach to managing health and safety risks. An OHSMS helps organizations to continually improve their safety performance and compliance to health and safety legislation and standards. In doing so, they establish safer working environments that protect people at work by eliminating, or better managing, health and safety hazards, such as helping create safer work environments, reducing injuries and injury-related costs. By preempting injuries, employers save money on medical expenses, the injured employee's wages, insurance claim excesses, replacement labor, and increased workers' compensation insurance premiums. Improving business opportunities. Many companies have preferential purchasing policies that favor purchasing products or services from companies with an OHSMS. Providing measurable systems that can verify OHS performance, demonstrating that the organization is meeting legal requirements, and enhancing the organization's reputation. Research shows that there are clear links between good OHS management systems and long-term business efficiency. The features of an effective OHSMS. Senior management commitment to managing OH&S risk. Senior management must demonstrate OH&S leadership and promote the involvement of staff in the development and implementation of the OHSM. It should be supported by the organization's overall management system. The organization must provide corporate commitment and sufficient resources. Make the OHSMS's structures and processes visible to employees and relevant to all business activities all the time. Ensure that the OHSMS is regularly updated because OH&S risks can increase at busy times, or when changes are occurring, for example, during restructures, changes of products and services, or changes of suppliers. The OHSMS needs to adjust to, and be appropriate for all circumstances. WorkSafe Victoria's 5 steps to an effective OHS management system. These steps form a continual cycle of improvement. Consultation is a key element of each step. 1. Senior management commitment and policy. The policy is a general plan of intent which guides or influences future decisions. It is the basis upon which measurable objectives and targets and the OHSMS is developed. 2. Planning. Plan how to deliver the OHS policy, objectives and targets, to ensure hazards arising from work activities are identified so that risks can be assessed and then controlled. 3. Implementation. Implement the plan by developing the capabilities and support mechanisms necessary to achieve the OHS policy, objectives and targets. 4. Measurement and evaluation. Measure, monitor and evaluate OHS performance to determine the effectiveness of risk management, and if necessary take preventative and corrective action. 5. Review and improvement. Review and continually improve the OHSMS, with the objective of improving OHS performance.
Safety is a massive focus for us because the protection and the health and well-being of our people is at the very core of what we do. Visible leadership is a critical element of any type of vision. And our safety vision is obviously to have zero harm. Everybody goes home every day. So the Friday Safety Walk allows us to connect, to have those conversations. If I show interest in safety, then it's likely that the team that are working for me will show interest in safety.
To assist with safety, we get everybody from workforce suggesting safety initiative to get as much as possible feedback. What are the potential risks and find mitigation around those problems.
So one of the key processes we've instituted within the joint venture to ensure the health, safety and well-being of our workforce is the methods planning process to ensure that the works are effectively planned and managed. It allows us to pictorially develop each step in the construction sequence of each high-risk activity to develop a plan for the guys to follow on site. That's complemented by a series of risk workshops where the responsible persons are involved in identifying and assessing all of the risks specific to each high-risk activity.
I think the key to success in safety on any project is to continually innovate. So we have a really strong push on innovation from the workforce level up through management teams and through the parent companies. We've had a number of successful stories through those innovations and we've started to see some fruition in terms of statistics and safety on the project. One of the key risks for the project is the amount of truck movements we have and public interface in particular. And Virtual Superintendent is a program or a geospatial database that actually looks at how we manage those trucks and those movements across all of Sydney. It looks at managing fatigue of the drivers. It also sends alerts around things like weather forecasts. So it's an overall view, overall picture of how we can safely manage trucks on these projects.
In our industry, there's a lot of rotation or picking up a precast element. And where we have a double wall situation, we have a rotating tool. So what that does is eliminates a second crane. You have two cranes in the job, so you've got a tower crane or you've got a mobile or two mobiles. It takes up a lot of real estate, and the risk of people-plant interaction is quite high, where this one is located in a small area and it has reduced the risk of interaction with people at least by 95%. One crane does the whole rotation and it does it quite well.
Blackstair is a proximity detection system, so it's utilising an engineering control as a defence mechanism to ensure persons are not exposed to the risk of being struck by a mobile plant.
Through the implementation of the Blackstair system, we've had a significant near miss in the project, and I think without the Blackstair unit there was potential fatality. The Blackstair innovation has potentially saved someone's life on this project.
Each of the parent companies involved in the joint venture are very much invested in ensuring that we take these initiatives from this particular project, where they've been successfully developed and rolled out, and then ensuring that they're pushed out on future projects to provide us a really strong base to work from in the future. Where the OFSC is of benefit to us here in the WestConnex project is that their accreditation system is really designed on driving repeatability and standardisation. So we've got the benefit of ensuring that all of the three sites within the project are operating to the same uniform standard. That standardisation, that uniformity, that repeatability, that provides us a differentiator. And it's a great forum to be able to share best practice with our peers within the industry.
Safety is important to CPB because we want people to go home safe at the end of the day, unaffected by the work that they've performed during the day. For a long time, we've had a principle of adopting above-the-line controls. So we always want to put a barrier between workers and the hazard so that they don't have to interact with the hazard. CPB started on a journey to look at what controls we could put in place around scissor-type mobile elevating work platforms after we recognised that there were a number of incidents involving operators of EWPs being seriously injured or killed, and we've been on that journey since November 2014.
With the elevator work platforms, they were making working at height a lot safer. However, it introduced additional hazards. Workers could potentially get crushed between the platform and obstructions. When you're going through doorways, you have tendencies of workers to try and manoeuvre the platform through doorways while they're in the basket. So that was another area that we looked at as part of the whole solution. Through the trial and error process, we really came down to two main options, and they were the mechanical barrier, which was on the basket, and the other one was the operator sensor and the proximity sensor option.
The secondary operator protection is a great initiative, so it brings in another control, and the more controls you have, the better. If they don't see something or the spotter doesn't see something, there's another control there to pick something up and stop something happening. We do have exclusion zones, we have spotters, we have signage, and that's, the secondary operator protection is a part of our overall safety process for working with EWPs.
A lot of these initial kits had to be retrofitted, which was the challenge, but now they're getting produced and manufactured with the secondary safety systems in place, making it a lot easier. We've got agreements with manufacturers and suppliers, plant equipment hire companies. We're in a position now where it's used widely on our projects and widely in industry.
We've had really good feedback from our client, from the actual workers, and they understand that it is keeping them safe, and that they've been right on board from the very start. There's been no loss of production, and overall really good feedback.
The OFSC scheme has been very important to CPB. The construction industry has for a long time been a high-risk industry and continues to be a high-risk industry. What I find that the OFSC does is it sets a standard that requires everyone to meet. It was good for CPB to be the first organisation in the world to mandate secondary safety systems on scissor-type mobile elevating work platforms. And that was because of the work that the organisation committed to, and it would not accept failure as an option. And I'm really proud of that.
We know that within society, mental health is of increasing concern. We also have a large proportion of our workforce who are male, and men can be at increased risk at different times of their life and susceptible to mental health issues. Our first promise is putting safety and health above all else. Our Healthy Minds program is based on evidence, and the pillars include raising awareness about mental health issues so that we reduce stigma and encourage our people to seek support, build capability, train our leaders that they understand the signs and the symptoms and how to refer, but also how to build a mentally healthy team. Part of that capability build is the implementation of our Healthy Minds champions. These are 190 professionals who are proud and passionate to support their colleagues.
By building a mentally healthy workplace, you're going to increase worker engagement, productivity, job satisfaction, and ultimately reducing workplace injuries and incidents. My role being a Healthy Minds champion is being there to support, to help raise awareness, reduce stigma, and ultimately being there for my colleagues if they are going through any tough times. It also involves supporting team leaders and management as well on how to approach and support their workers and where to refer them to. I'm very proud to be part of an organisation that demonstrates such a genuine care and commitment to the health and wellbeing of their employees.
The biggest impact that I've seen is on my team leaders and my 2 ICs. They feel confident in now having discussions around mental health. And the other thing that I've really noticed is not only do I support my team, but my team supports me. So they keep an eye on my mental health as well. So it's made us a better team.
The Healthy Minds program is a great initiative and a tool that allows us to check in on our workers. Where conversations can sometimes be hard, not knowing what to say to somebody who is experiencing some difficulties, it gives us that tool to be able to offer them assistance and use it as an icebreaker. The stigma is definitely decreasing. People are more open to talk, and it's more about how we can help them through that period.
Back in the old days, we had no one to turn to really. But now it's right there for you. It does give you peace of mind that you've got that support and backup from management. It takes the pressure off. There's always someone there for you, which is great.
One of the benefits that we're seeing from our investment in mental health is the increased capability of our leaders. The confidence to have supportive conversations then leads to better outcomes, not only for their career, but for Ventia as well. Our safety performance improves, our outcomes at a contract level also improves. Some of the future initiatives that we have in place for the Healthy Minds program include expanding on our capability with our leaders. The OFSC sets very high standards as it relates to construction safety, and they've been very supportive of Ventia's investment in our mental health programs. We do appreciate the benchmarking that the OFSC provides so that we can compare ourselves to best practices and aspire to improve even further. It would be fantastic to see more industry collaboration on mental health. The more collaboration will lead to better understanding, but also investment in programs at an industry level.